How we looking? Okay, we've got a bunch of people joining us here. I want to thank everybody for watching. We are live here at the 2021 Breedlove Winter Show pre-game event. Behind the scenes, got a little live streaming technology going on. I've got Angela Christensen here, who is in charge of designing these beautiful Breedlove guitars. How you doing, Ange?
Doing great. Welcome, everybody.
I've got Mr. Luke Basil from Rainmaker Studios, all the way from Washington here to play some guitars. Lucas, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Mr. Eric, good day, sir.
Me again.
Eric this morning did a tour of the Breedlove custom shop. If you missed it, you can join us again and watch that. If you head over, I'm going to show you a little behind the scenes stuff here. If you head over to the Breedlove website, if you go to show.breedlovemusic.com, you can check out all the really cool content. You can see live broadcasts that we've already done. Here's a live broadcast from the workshop this morning. You can watch that video. You can see really cool videos with a bunch of beautiful new guitars for 2021. Another thing that's really fun, if you're going to be joining us, click on this link and check out this winter magazine. This winter magazine has a bunch of really interesting storytelling, behind the scenes stuff, really great stories about Myrtlewood, the new Premiere series. But that's enough about that. We are going to dig into the Breedlove revolutionary body shapes. There's 4 of them, as you can see right here. These are the proprietary shapes that Breedlove has been working on for years now, and I have Eric and Angela to talk us through them, and then we're going to do a full-on sound side-by-side play test with Luke. Guys, why don't we start off? Tell me a little bit about the concert. This really cool concert body shape.
Sure. So this was the concert here. It's probably the most versatile of all the body shapes that we have here. It's also one of the more original ones, our original one, that a lot of these other body shapes are based on, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the other ones. On all the concerts, you're gonna have an ASIN headstock.
Asymmetrical headstock on the top.
Correct. The sound hole is, help me with the
4
dimension.
inch.
4 inches even on the concerts. Like I said, definitely the most versatile. It's really ready for finger picking, heavy play, and everything right in the middle too.
So the concert's the very first body shape. When we think about the history of Breedlove, we think about going back to the early days, back in the 90s, when they were designing and developing this body shape. And the concert really was where it all started. From there, we started this journey of creating additional body shapes. And what was the next body shape that Breedlove decided to develop based on that concert shape?
So the Concerto was the next endeavor. We really wanted to design something that had our DNA in it to replace a traditional dreadnought body. So we wanted to design a little more comfort into the design, but build a more lush, complex sound than you traditionally get with a dreadnought, but still something that just packs the punch. So the Concerto, we released in 2017. You can see it is quite a bit larger than the Concert. The Concert lower bout is 15 3/8 measurement across the lower bout. We jump up to 16 inches
Okay, so quite a bit bigger.
on the Concerto. We also have our wave headstock, which is a distinctive element there.
Yeah, totally different headstock. Tell me a little bit about this sound hole. You can actually see right here when you're looking at these two models, this sound hole and this sound hole are very, very different.
They are.
Why is that smaller on the Concerto?
So the sound hole diameter is 3 3/4 on the Concerto, and we did that on purpose. We were targeting a certain fundamental resonance for this body shape. So when we were developing, we played with a couple different versions, changing the sound hole diameter as well as the depth of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And where we landed on this, we go from a full 5-inch depth at the tail block to 4-inch measurement up at the
Let's show them
neck.
this. Let's show them this taper, because it's such a big change. You can actually see the difference in that taper.
Yes.
5 inches at the base, you said.
5 inches down to 4 inches. So we're creating a much larger air chamber.
And that helps
This
funnel
body.
that music or funnel that vibration, that sound as well,
Yeah.
right?
Now, by shrinking the sound hole diameter from the Concert, it forces the air to spend a little more time inside the body, developing more resonance. So creating that little bit more complex sound that we've been able to achieve with our Concerto versus those traditional dreadnoughts.
So bigger, boomier, but more complex, nuanced sound than a traditional dreadnought.
Correct.
You can play it when you're playing bluegrass, you're an ensemble, you're gonna break through, but you're gonna have better or
Just a little more lush sound.
lush sound. Okay. Okay, so we start with the Concert. You guys developed the Concerto. What was next?
The Concertina
Okay.
was next.
So with the Concertina here, you can see it's kind of a little bit smaller than the Concert, similar body shape, wave headstock up at the top. This is kind of our answer to a parlor guitar, or
Okay.
similar in nature anyway. Definitely a little bit better for light play style. I gotta look at the sound hole for this one. 4 inches on this one as well, it looks like.
3 7/8.
Oh, it's 3
Close.
7/8.
3 7/8. Does this have a tapered design like the Concerto?
It does. So with the Concertina, it's again a little bit shallower than the Concert. And so on the Concertina, we go from 3 1/4 inches at the neck
Okay.
to 4-inch depth at the tail block.
Gotcha. So same idea, trying to get all of that air chamber space to make a little bit more resonance, but also focus that sound.
And speaking of focused sound, the Concertina, with the change in the sound hole diameter, we have been able to achieve a lot of projection out of this instrument. So it surprises a lot of people when they go to pick up a Concertina. It's a very intimate feeling guitar. Typically want to kind of cuddle up with it a little more so with that kind of finger style, but
Yeah.
when you hear it, it surprises you with the boom that comes out of it. And so I think it's a fun tool for a lot of people to have because it doesn't quite fit where other guitars do.
Yeah, it's a lot of sound for a smaller body.
Our brand editor, Michael Eck, who writes all of the copy that we would read in the Winter magazine, this is his favorite body shape. He calls it the secret weapon. So if you need a little secret weapon that you can curl up with, but also make a lot of big sound, it's a good one. Okay, so we have, just to recap, the Concert, the original body shape, very versatile. The Concerto, dreadnought replacing guitar, big, great for bluegrass, whenever you need to stand out. The Concertina, the lovely little parlor replacer. And then what is this tiny little jewel over here?
So the Companion is our newest release. This is a travel-ready guitar.
Okay.
So really think of the Concert as a travel size instrument. So we've shortened the scale length to 23 1/2.
Yep.
It does have the same body depth as the Concertina, so it goes from a 3 1/4 to 4 inch.
Okay, yeah, you can see that with those two.
And just due to the diminutive size of it, we did shrink that sound hole in proportion. It's about just over 3 1/2 inches diameter.
3 1/2 inches. And the thing I love about this little travel guitar is we've had travel guitars in the past. They were great. This guitar, when you play it, you do not compromise on any of the sound. This feels and plays like a real guitar. I know for a lot of us that have been out traveling with guitars, it's not a lot of fun to be lugging guitars around on the airplanes and that sort of thing. But you don't want to compromise on the sound for that smaller guitar, and this does not compromise, and it's very much a real instrument, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let's scoot back. Let's look at all these. So there's all 4 of them. There you can really kind of see the size.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And that they're all a family,
Right.
right? It all comes from the same DNA of our concert.
Start there at the concert. Do we have any questions from anybody that's watching so far before we get into kind of a live demo? You can drop questions if you're on Facebook. Drop them right in the comment section, and we can address those. Any questions?
One thing we did mention too, she mentioned a shorter scale length on the companion. This is also a slightly shorter scale length than the concert and the concerto by about a 1/2 inch, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So not much smaller, but a little different on this concertina here.
And it being a 12 fret to body instrument,
Yeah.
so that's where it feels more like a parlor.
Right.
Love it. I love these guitars. Well, something that's super fun, when we think about crafting tone with guitars, we can think about the body influencing the sound, right? We know that the top wood, the back wood, those all influence the sound, but the body shapes do a lot. And what's nice is right now we have 4 guitars here that are all made out of mahogany.
Yes.
So we can play test these and walk everyone through them, and we're going to get a really true sense of the sound difference between the bodies because they're all the same tone wood. So we'll really hear it a lot. Okay. Well, where do you guys want to start?
I say we started Concerto.
Start with the big guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go down the line.
And everyone, we apologize. The audio quality is a little bit challenging sometimes. We're live streaming and things are compressed, but we'll give you the best audio that we can. So thank you for listening. Luke, what are you going to do with a big guitar like that?
I'm going to do some bigger strumming, and I think I might kind of do a similar piece throughout all these 4 guitars, so we can kind of hear how they react differently.
Same piece through all guitars to hear the difference. I like it. Okay, buddy. I like it.
Still going.
Big and boomy.
Yeah, it's got a nice big sound to it for sure.
Still going, actually.
I love it. Let's, before we lose that sound, let's change out for the concert before we forget what that sounded like, I should say. This is the concert shape, a little smaller.
You can hear how dynamic that sound is compared to a concerto. I mean, you
Yeah.
get lots of different notes from all the sections of the strings there.
So when we say versatile, this is a guitar that's really good for strumming, also really nice for fingerstyle. So just kind of an all-terrain guitar, so to speak. That sounded great. A little less bass maybe than...
Yeah, absolutely. But that's to be expected. That's kind of what we're shooting for.
Okay, so this is the Concertina. Wow.
Yeah. Surprising. I agree.
a secret weapon. This one always is quite surprising.
Well, you heard me step back a little bit, or maybe you saw me step back. You know, I thought it was going to be a lot quieter, yeah. And then when it came out of the gate,
Yeah, you don't lose a lot in terms of projection and sustain, that sort of thing. It'll get a little bit brighter, and when he's playing those high notes, you'll hear those ring a little bit more true than some other models.
Sure, that's
Don't
super
lose a
cool.
lot with that Tina model.
I think I know which one I'm in love with, but there's one more to hear. This is the Companion Travel Ready. It's not bad,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
you don't lose a lot.
for a really small body guitar.
Right.
And you know, for a guitar that you're going to have on the road with you or curled up on the couch, whatever application you need it. I mean, that's a real instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got a built-in pickup system too, so it's ready to plug in, go live.
Right.
And you can tone right here.
I love it. So a question that we had from somebody, you know, you can tell by looking at these guitars that there's a difference in the headstocks. We alluded to this a little bit earlier, but we call this the asymmetrical headstock. This is the very standard headstock that you would have seen on the first concert body shape. You'll also see that same headstock on this travel ready companion. And then you see something a little different happening on the Concerto and the Concertina. This is the wave headstock. This is a nod to folks that are looking for something that is still distinctly Breedlove. It has that little wave. It is very much a Breedlove and of the Breedlove family. However, there's a little bit more of a nod towards tradition. And so for folks that aren't quite ready for something that is as cool as this, you might need something a little bit more traditional. Then this is where you see the wave. Now tell me, you guys design these, you guys build these. What's the difference? I know that these headstocks are not just about looks. What is the difference between these from a functionality standpoint?
So I believe that the asymmetrical headstock was originally designed to keep strings coming off the nut to stay as straight as possible.
Sure.
So that's something that's a little different than a lot of traditional guitar makers do these days. You know, you can probably see it a little bit on a wave headstock. These strings do bend at a bit more of an angle than asym.
They flare a little bit, yeah.
Right. So that was the original intention behind this design here. It's one of the reasons I like it. You know, technically this is still asymmetrical. So we kept it a little bit back to how we've always done, but we wanted to do something a little more traditional.
Sure.
I don't think that these wave headstocks make sound suffer because of that string angle, but you can expect a lot straighter line, which means cleaner tone.
Sure.
On one of our asym headstocks.
Sure. Yeah, so folks are at home, a very quick way to identify those body shapes is that asymmetrical headstock here. You'll see that on the Travel Concertina and also the Concert. And then the Companion. And then the Concertina. And then the Concerto, you always see that wave headstock. We love your feedback. If there's one you love in particular, let us know. Drop a comment. We are just going through the Breedlove body shapes here at the 2021 Winter Show, and we've got a bunch of other live broadcasts coming at you. You've got undivided attention here of the designers and builders. If you have questions, let us know. Drop them in the comments. We'd love to answer them. B, we got any more questions? Okay. Luke, is there one of these that you really fell in love with out of these 4 different shapes? If you have to pick one, you're trapped in a sound studio on an island, and you can only have one shape. What are you going with?
I mean, I've always been a sucker for the Concert. I own a handful of Concerts, but the Concertina kind of has my heart as of late.
The Concertina.
You know what?
All right. Sounds good.
Do you want to play us out? And these are, before we get a little too far towards our closing here, I want to let you know these are part of the organic collection. We're going to be diving deep into the organic collection and talking about these and sustainability here during these live broadcasts. If you go to show.breedlovemusic.com, you can check out a full schedule of events, and you can see when we're doing our sustainability conference, when we're going to be talking about the organic collection. All of those are going to be coming up. And if you miss them, those will be archived on the website as well. You can go back and watch any of these. Without further ado, Luke, you want to play us out? Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here for the next live session.